I'm sorry. I can't do Americans. I need somebody with culture. I'm sorry.
Geechee essentially is a dialect of the Gullah language. It is also what linguists would call the pidgin or bridge language. So if you heard Gullah, people are cracking teeth like this and thing like that, and
so I'm finding out that there is a language called Tut or Tutanese that our Black American ancestors created to speak in code during slavery so they could like talk, communicate, read and write. And all I gotta say is Alalo Vavi Oyurat Katula Taturati.
Mon mari dit quand il commençait l'école, il était je connais pas les créoles. So c'était dire
Did you know? In 1786, Louisiana passed the Tignan Law, forcing black women to cover their hair.
We didn't care about integrating. We didn't want to integrate. That's what people don't get if they don't know history. We never asked for integration. We just wanted equal rights because you were taking our tax money. That's all they were asking for. They gave you that bullshit to shut you up. You see what I'm saying? Oh, we gonna give you, we didn't ask for civil rights. We asked for equal because you was taking our taxes. And then we didn't understand the psychology behind what they've done to us to say, in order to be better, white people got to validate us because they didn't see white people exodus taking money out their neighborhoods the way they did. So when we integrated, all the schools went away, the doctor's office went away. Remember, we couldn't go to these stuff, so we had our own doctor's office, our own shoemakers, our own, it went away because the psychology of if this white person takes my money, I'm validated. Remember the scene in, what was the movie, the show Misha Green wrote on Lovecraft Country. Yeah. Remember the Green Book scene where they went to the restaurant and they realized they had probably killed, unalived the white woman and paint over the burn spots of the restaurant. And he was like, no, our money just as good. They're going to take our money. That was their thought process. You were making these people take your money who didn't even want to deal with you for validation.
Early morning, ready to go get my coffee, start the day off. Another later start. Some of these starts I like to have with y'all a little later because what it allows me to do is do my little digital journals in the morning. Now, if I was driving to work or doing what I do, I probably would do it a little bit differently. Now, I know that YouTube has a thing called YouTube Live. And YouTube Live, I think it does allow you to go live in the morning. Or not in the morning, but when you got to have a certain amount of subscribers. But I think they got like a YouTube thing where they got it to where you can go through the mobile app, which I don't typically do. You know, but maybe one day I'll try it. Maybe I'll do like a product review or something like that. I might even do like a product test or like some kind of test or whatnot, you know, and then see how that goes. But, you know, it is what it is. You know, I'll try it. I'll see what I can do. So, one thing I wanted to say, I wanted to kind of do a recap talking about real quick, just updates on that scam video, on what's going on. And my whole point was this: you have do you guys remember, this was in my second book, there was a chapter, for anybody that may have it, there's a chapter where I talked about where North Carolina worked with a Microsoft Imagine Academy, and they got well over I think it was over 100,000 people. It might have been 200, I don't know, but the state of North Carolina got over 100,000 students certified in multiple different certifications while they were in high school. Now, remember, every time I see a black person, even when I be going downtown and I be going to the, when I be hitting the light rail and I be seeing folks acting a fool and all that, especially when they're young, I start saying, that could have been an IT professional or something like that. That's how I see it. Now, yeah, you got to kind of take the wheel and you got to put some effort into your grind and your hustle and whatever you want to do. But that's what I be seeing a lot of times. When I see somebody, I'm like, man, that could have been another IT professional making about 70 to 100 a year. You see what I'm saying? And Minneapolis Public Schools, and I got inside story on this, Minneapolis Public Schools didn't want the Microsoft Imagine Academy. They didn't want the Microsoft Imagine Academy. We got a work pool. We got a talent pool. Minnesota did not need a foreign entity and tons of people that they needed to get flood in here, where they could just cut all these financial benefits. You see what I'm saying? You already had a black American working talent. You could have pulled talent out of that pool. Minnesota did it specifically to undermine us. Now, America went over there to these places and messed their countries up and stuff like that. But I'm telling y'all what I know. They did not need another 100,000 plus people or whatever like that. They had enough right here. So when they do these things and they let these scam systems go on, don't be confused into thinking that it's something that's accidental. You can't have anything of this large ramifications without there being a higher hand in play. You just don't have a system like that. It doesn't work that way. So I start kind of looking and saying, well, wait a minute, man, that's a lot of money to just get blown out of proportion, and you're not looking at life sentences. Everybody should be getting life sentences involved in this, because what you've done is you've upset the economic balance in the scale in that part of the region. Yeah, you've really messed it up for a lot of other people that could have got that money. So more and more, when I start looking at more and more of the investigations and stuff, I'm seeing that there's a lack of organization. There's a lack of accountability. A lot of these places are not really looking into who's getting this money and how it's being funneled and stuff. And you keep seeing the same folks over and over and over. So, I just thought that was very interesting. But now we get into another situation. I wonder if I could just park right over there. You get into another situation now where you're starting to see, I need to repark. Matter of fact, I think I'm about to just park a little bit closer. I'll just do that. What you're starting to see is there is some new hiring that I am seeing going on. They're trying to go ahead and just knock as many people as they can out that they can. And I've been seeing a lot of desktop positions open. I've been seeing the desktop positions starting to come back open for refreshes. I'm seeing the data center positions starting to, come back in. So I'm going to give you guys updates on that. So get a little update on that part of the Digital Journal. If y'all haven't checked out, I got a 1-hour military live where I'm talking about the military. This brother asked me, he had military experience, so he was asking questions about that. And I kind of covered some things about the cyber attacks and things of that nature too. Another thing too that I want to say, when you're at these jobs, let's see, it's a 54. When you're at these jobs, brothers and sisters, one thing y'all want to do is you want to start watching how people move. You really want to start watching how people move. when you start seeing people do stuff like if they're taking tickets out of your name and you were supposed to have this allotment of different things and that, start thinking ahead as to what the job outlook may look like. If you're getting a situation where, because remember what I told y'all, a lot of these little, no, that ain't the button. A lot of these little, I call them the law and order environments. Some of these big corporate, I'll say the big corporate snake in the grass environment. I'll use that term. When you start getting into some of these big places like that, and you're going into the workplace, and remember, this is a very passive aggressive state. So you're dealing with folks that you really can't rest your laurels on what they say. Just watch what they do. For example, I seen a situation where I'm given this amount of things to do. Okay, this is your thing. Hey man, focus on that. I'm too busy for everything else. So, but now it becomes a situation where the person's starting to take credit for your work. And you're seeing the work kind of divvy around. That's a red alert for you. Okay? That's a red alert. That's something that you want to take a look at. You want to say, okay, so if you're looking at the output, if the output is slimming down, immediately get your resume out there too. If you need help, I'll help you. But I'm probably gonna jump in with Brother Chat. I'm not doing the manual thing no more. I'm gonna let that thing do it. I'm gonna work the engine as it's fit to be used. So shoot me your resume, you know. But if you start seeing where the work's dwindling down, use that as a red alert. Do not wait, because what will happen is, remember I told you this is an at-will state. A lot of times what will happen is they'll pull you into an office somewhere and they'll start saying, like, for example, a couple people done messed up where I'm at, but they looking at me and I'm like, no, I'm not taking the responsibility for that. And then they come back and they say, well, you know what? Yeah, that was somebody else. Yeah, but I'm the person that gets asked the question about it, because I'm the person that basically makes sure people have what they need. But I'm like, hey, if one team is giving me something and it ain't right, that's not on me. That's on y'all. So once I hand it off, it goes to the next site and then they have to handle it. But what they tried to do, this, and I noticed this is the second time that this has happened, and it's been a quote unquote learning experience. Oh, it's just a simple mistake in the learning experience. I don't buy that. Because the level of interest that they've used in terms of trying to rebuttal me for what happened, I'm like, hey, I got my paperwork and they're still asking questions. There's no more questions for you to ask. I'll cover that more so with the podcast in depth. I'm trying to think of any other things. So we're going to review this app in depth about this, what they call it, this T app or whatever. But I want to get some more paperwork and investigation. I want to get more on that. So I'm going to give y'all some videos on that too. And I hope y'all are enjoying each video. You notice I sprinkle a little bit of Black American history or some video, or it might be somebody talking slick about us or whatever the case may be. You notice I throw that in there because this is coming from the Freedmen's experience. We're talking about what's going on right now. We talking about the jobs. We talking about the tech, but we doing it from the Black American experience. So we gonna talk black. We gonna talk about Black American history, and we gonna talk about how we got here and where we going. So yeah, I'm gonna have videos of our greats, our scholars, you know, because some of y'all may not know about these people. I'm probably going to start grabbing a little bit more inventors and stuff like that. But hopefully, now I'm going to do another one about Lonnie Johnson, the brother that made a Super Soaker. He didn't just do just that. He did a lot more. I'm going to do one on Marion Croak, the sister, where if you got Microsoft Teams, if you got any kind of app where you're on the phone, any teleconference app, Facebook, all of that, Marion Croak. She led the charge for voice over internet protocol. You think that system? So all these little, you know, it's interesting too. It's very interesting that a lot of folks that got a lot of slick stuff to say about us, a Black American woman made the very protocol that they discuss and live rent free and live rent free about us. You dig? So I'll be adding this. Sun's real bright, so I'm gonna shut this off. I'll probably do another journal or another little mini story today, since not a whole lot's going on. So like I say, I haven't been breaking my neck to get in there real early no more. I got my head on a different kind of swivel right now. So I'll see y'all in a minute.